Welcome back to Just Another Melt on Just Another Melting channel. At the end of our previous video, what's this R stuff? You ain't here. But at the end of the previous video, I was talking about the clay graphite crucible and why you should refrain from using a steel crucible of any kind. And I'm not going to say that in a manner that is disrespectful or in jest of people who do, because again, it's your choice. It's just that the potential for failure and for molten metal to spill everywhere is just too great. So that being said, getting a clay graphite crucible, you can find them on Amazon. Definitely go check out SW Dweeb's channel, where he talks about what the numbers with the crucibles represent and why that would be important. And then I'm just going to say this. If you're using a clay graphite crucible, make or purchase some lifting tongs. You should not ever use pliers or chan locks to lift the crucible out of the furnace. Now I say that because I did it, and you know, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I'm trying to tell you, learn from my mistakes. Don't do it. The intense pressure, the concentrated pressure on this heated crucible in one spot near the top can cause a crucible to bend, break, and crack much faster, especially when it's red hot. So fabricate some lifting tongs. Use some salad tongs or barbecue tongs. Use anything except for pliers and chan locks. All right? That's all I'm going to say on the subject. You've got to do it. Do it right. Now, I apologize because originally I was going to spend the entirety of this video continuing to talk about lessons learned and all the stuff that I picked up, little tips and tricks and so on and so forth. But I needed to change things up for a couple of reasons, one of which you're seeing on screen. So here's what I'm changing. The very first subscriber to this channel outside of my family was a former coworker of mine. He is a former coworker of mine because I moved on. I switched jobs. But he has always been so extremely supportive of me. And I made him a promise way back in the day, probably around March or April, that if I ever got the chance to give him some pirate treasure, I would. And as him and his lovely wife are now expecting their first little pirate, I wanted to dedicate this next melt to the Dread Pirate Roberts. This one's for you, bud. Time lapse going. It is 1500 hours, and I am going to try to melt this copper right here in my homemade furnace. This is the most ghetto fob rig I've ever seen or done in my life, but I'm hoping it works. I want to see if I can do this. I have a mold, a coin mold that I purchased. You should know who that belongs to. See, I've already been doing some melting today. I want to see if I can do this with the effed up circumstances that I currently maintain. Looks like it's starting to melt down, but it's not molten yet. At least not that I can see. Oh, there's a little bit. There's a little bit there. There's a little bit of molten copper.
molten copper in there right now, and I'm about to try and do another pour into the cooling tank.
I'm so excited. Yeah. So way back in February, when I very first started melting, one of the things that I bought was this crimped wire wheel, thinking, you know, maybe I'll get a chance to use it. So there you have it, folks. This was just another melt on oh no, it wasn't just another melt, because this was a copper melt. My first copper melt. Right here on Just Another Melting channel. And to my friend, the Dread Pirate Robots, I've got some treasure for you, man. For everyone else, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you might have learned a little something, or at the very least, I hope you found it entertaining and fun to watch. I will see you on the next video, and in the meantime, be safe, be nice to other people, just do some good. Arr.